Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks.
And you're going to just do this
Yeah.
all committed to memory?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm in the speech and debate program at the Taos School, and we have, this is an event called Original Oratory. It's a 10-minute persuasive speech, and this one is about the importance of imagination in society. So this is what's going to do it.
The dragon is loose! Come on, we got to get to the ancient stone of magic so we can defeat it! I'll become a wizard, so I can conjure a force field around us. Can you do that? Oh look, it's the portal to the stone!
This is what happened every day on the playground after lunch throughout my 3rd grade year. Between myself and a considerable group of other 3rd graders, there occurred a daily quest to defeat the central evil force, either as classic mythical creatures or our favorite fictional characters. It was a game, and I'm sure the depths of our little souls knew that. But still, there was a portion of us insisting that those who believed in the magic were the ones who could see it. It seems now that I was a bit insane that year. However, it's amazing to observe how heavily one function of the mind can impact a person's life. That is the power of imagination. Of course, in the words of Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Einstein perfectly emphasizes the main idea that imagination is essential to the healthy development of people and society. In proving this, we will first examine its impact on young children, then establish its importance in education, and finally look into efficient production of new ideas, to take imagination beyond the words of a fairy tale. Young children grow up on an unclear blend of fantasy and reality. According to Jacqueline D. Woolley and Maliki Ghassaini in a paper entitled Revisiting the Fantasy-Reality Distinction, Children as Naive Skeptics, given the right combination of age, evidence, and testimony, children will come to believe in a completely novel, fantastical being. However, they will also begin to challenge the legitimacy of their reality, and the distinction between the two may not become clear until around the age of 12. Now, despite how crazy this may sound, Dr. Scott Barry Kaufman from Psychology Today states that fantasy play benefits the young brain by means of language improvement and development in social-emotional skills. And Tracy Gleason from Wellesley College describes the benefits of children learning to think from different perspectives by simultaneously behaving as themselves and as someone else. Personally, I remember absolutely loving creative literature and expanding my views of the world at the height of my imaginative mentality as a young child. And I was lucky to have many opportunities to exercise my imagination in school. But it is important to consider whether we as a society are still giving our younger generations adequate access to the unreal. I remember a day in kindergarten when the class was finishing up a coloring assignment. And as one student handed in a worksheet, the teacher suddenly declared that she had never seen a green dog in her entire life. Well, although this was a valid point, I can't help but observe that this was the one school I attended at which I never had an actual art class in Colorado. But according to Grace Wong Lynch in a PBS article called The Importance of Art and Child Development, I really could have used one. Lynch states that art programs and electives are known to benefit a child's motor skills, language development, decision-making, cultural awareness, inventiveness, visual learning, and academic performance. Unfortunately, however, research is guiding us to a conclusion that society's enforcement of standardized education really doesn't like green dogs. Rachel Rettner from Live Science reports that scores on the Torrance test of creative thinking are decreasing. And the conductor of the study links a decline in imaginative thinking on an overload of standardized testing in schools. Moreover, according to Tim Walker, a 2014 survey by the National Education Association reveals that 42% of surveyed teachers recognize the test's negative impact on the classroom because, quote, the high-stakes testing regime has squeezed out much of the curriculum that can make school an engaging and enriching experience for students. and teachers have been forced to dilute their creativity to teach to the test. It is hard to have the arts cut from a school when test scores take priority. And all that can be imagined melts down to one valid answer in an attempt to keep the school successful on paper. As a result of excessive pressure on schools to meet the standards, green dogs, blue dogs, and sometimes even multicolored dogs are constantly cast aside for the validity of brown dogs. It does not have to be this way. When it comes to funding for education, artistic and creative programs must take priority over standardized textbooks. But to make this a worthy investment for schools, all of society must understand the importance of a creative education. Especially for young children who've not yet clearly distinguished fantasy and reality, education must be flexible. Because as they are the future of society, the world's prosperity relies on their ability to produce good ideas. Good ideas or not, current entertainment is also a topic of concern. Picture this. An older child living a dull life is surprised to be recruited to a school of magic and supernatural concepts. Leaving his or her family behind, the child discovers an entirely new life, part of which includes fame and exceptional talent, and is faced with an overload of expectations and responsibilities throughout many perilous adventures. I can think of at least 3 book series that follow this general plotline. And they're all great, and the idea is brilliant. But it's not new anymore. Furthermore, Yahoo's article, How Unoriginal is Hollywood? Varied, and we got the stats to prove it, states that just under 25% of 89 major cinema releases in 2014 were considered original, compared to 58% of 111 in 1984. And Light's Film School states that 0 of the nation's top 10 films of 2011 were originals. All were sequels or adaptations. Yes, movie quality is a very minor issue, but new ideas are a very major necessity. This is highlighted most clearly by author and millennial researcher Miles Howard in 2017. Howard declares that between an overload of hate crimes and natural disasters, we are charged once again with re-evaluating our options. In his words, events including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement, FDR's New Deal, and Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation are epic testaments to the power of collective imagination, of redefining what's possible and pragmatic. Howard further discusses the importance of imagination in battling major issues such as climate change. We must imagine a world that takes responsibility for global warming on a much larger and more effective scale than today's primarily individualistic methods. The world needs new ideas such as these in order to truly develop. Sure, we can remake movies, replicate video games, improve airplanes, and upgrade our phones all we want. But none of us would even own a phone if they had not been imagined in the first place. Similarly, we must keep coming up with new answers to our dilemmas to keep from being outsmarted by our past selves and trapped in an unoriginal world. So perhaps it could be concluded that we are entering an imagination crisis. This is unfortunate, but most certainly not irreversible. After examining the imagination's positive impact on young minds, value in our education systems, and major importance in societal development, it becomes clear that this mental function exists within us for good reason. Our only concern is terminating society's steady repression of imaginative aspects. So let's go back to the beginning and allow our youth to develop wacky and mental ideas at school and at home. Children will believe that they can become wizards to battle dragons, and that dogs can be green and cats can have wings and trees have the power to read people's minds. And after we grow out of these beliefs later in life, the lasting effect is an open mind about what can happen and what should be accomplished. Through this mindset, we can make anything happen. As mankind's general progression continues, we can guide it towards success by imagining an impossible world and learning from it. Because the gift of imagining unreality is the real road to success. you.
So, board members, any questions on our first presentation? Ms. Lewis, have you had to do that in competition? Have you performed that? I don't want to you say performed, but
Yeah, it's the one I competed with last year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, all last year.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely.